pretty, isn't it? Everyone please notice the new clock in the courtroom. As you stand to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This session of the Lincoln County Commission on December the 16th, 2010, 10 a.m. is now called to order. Members present is Charles McCann, President, and Thomas Ramey, Jr., Commissioner. First thing on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular session of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on December the 2nd, 2010 at 6 p.m.
So moved.
Second, being all yes vote, motion carries.
Next thing on the agenda was have Christy London.
Welcome, Christy.
Thank you.
Mr. McCann, Mr. Ramey, thank you for allowing me to address this meeting of the Lincoln County Commission. My name is Christy Lingle, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Duval High School class of 65. We have a very special request to ask of you. We would sincerely appreciate you declaring April the 21st as Lance Corporal Rodney A. Breedlove Day throughout Lincoln County. We, as a class, with the help of Eddie Belcher, representative from the Governor's Office, Loretta Kuhn, genealogist, Danny Huffman, our honorary chairman, and Bruce Hager, president of the class of 65, have written a resolution to be presented to the 2011 session of the West Virginia State Legislature. I have given you a copy of the draft resolution. As you can see, we are requesting that a section of State Route 3 from the intersection at Yawkey to the 119 intersection at Julian be named Lance Corporal Rodney A. Breedlove Memorial Highway, killed in action, Vietnam, 1967. We have been led to believe that this resolution will be passed. We are so confident that this will happen that we have already set a date, a time, and a place for the dedication ceremony. And with the help of Eddie Belcher, Woody Williams has agreed to be the guest speaker. We've had a lot of help at the state level. Now we need your help by declaring April the 21st as Lance Corporal Rodney A. Breedlove Day. We can get the entire county involved. Everybody in Lincoln County will know what a hero Rodney was. And Rodney truly was a hero. Paragraph 6 of the resolution lists all the awards and honors and medals that he received. But most important, he was a young man who gave the ultimate sacrifice, his life. And Rodney was so proud to be a Marine. He wore his uniform with such pride and such dignity. He even had a different walk when he was in uniform. He honestly believed he was doing the most important thing that a young man could do, bravely defending his country. Rodney lost his life on April the 21st in a place near Da Nang in the Republic of Vietnam. He was listed as a ground casualty. But with your help, on this April the 21st, people all over the county will remember Rodney as the courageous young Marine that truly loved his country, his state, and his home here in Lincoln County. And we, the class of 65, and Rodney's family, would like for you to be present at the first reading of the resolution of the 2011 session of the legislature. And this, I feel, would help to show that our county is united and supports this resolution. And we also request your presence at the dedication ceremony on April 30th.
Very kind of you and your class, those involved. I'm sure that we're going to support it with every way we can. probably not enough for us, but we're certainly in support of what you have requested. And at this time, I'd entertain a motion to declare April the 21st as you requested for this county commission.
I will further say that, you know, it's hard to put into words the sacrifices people like Rodney have made and the small gestures that we make from this commission level or the legislature is only made possible because of the sacrifices people like Rodney made. And I'm gladly, and I wish there was more we could do. Make the motion.
And second here, certainly, can't do enough for people. You know, just glad that you all felt in your hearts to move forward and do something like this. So be an all yes vote, and we will certainly give any support and attendance that we can. Anything else comes up that you need us on, just feel free. Thank you.
And we've already got the commitment out of Ruby Phillip to push this.
Well,
And
I'm sure that.
I think Josh and others are gonna help on this.
Actually, I would ask if we could have a letter drafted in support of that and just send it to our local delegation.
That'd be a good idea. Send it to all of them. When do you, have you given copies yet to the delegates or anything?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Bruce couldn't be here today.
okay. I will word the letter so that we'll let them know.
They've already gotten Woody Williams, and you all are familiar with that.
Yes, yes.
And he's committed to April 30th, so they're feeling like it's going to be approved.
Well, I'm sure they'll all work together. I'm sure it'll happen. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All of you.
Next thing on the agenda is Rick McDowell.
Welcome, Rick.
Because nobody else is here, you had a whole hour.
Somebody said they hoped you got snowed in, but I don't know.
Well, I did once, but I came back.
There you go, sir. You're welcome.
I wanted to give you an update on the Phase 3 project. What you've got here is a rough budget. The final budget doesn't go to DEP until after we do the bids, because that is going to tell us how much the actual construction cost is. But we're looking at 888,000 plus. Again, almost all of it, not almost all of it, but the vast majority, all but 100,000 is going to be construction, and the rest will be other costs involved in this. We met with DEP on Friday. They didn't want to move as fast as we wanted to move with the calendar. They sort of said, here's some other kinds of things we'd like to have you get done. We're moving to try to get those done. My hope at this point is that at the end of January, we would actually put the bids out. We'd be ready by then. It might be that instead of putting all 26 systems out to bid at the end of January, we put a majority of them, but hold a couple to bank where we still have some questions. But that's where we are now. I feel like we're moving forward. I think the money's going to be there.
I think we're just fortunate that we, not only the money's there, but we got you working on it, finding the money, and getting things done.
Didn't ever think it would go this far, but I think we might as well keep riding it.
No, I mean, it's been a long trail.
It has. It has, for somebody who didn't know what a septic system was. At the last meeting, I shared with you the letter from Paul Ashburn from ASHTO. Those were the folks we had taken the complaint to the Attorney General about, and the suggestion was made that I ought to ask some other folks in state government whether it made sense to rebut his letter. And people that I talked to said, yeah, they felt that we should. So there's a copy of the letter that went to the Attorney General's office that just really says that felt that he misrepresented stuff and sort of gave our version of what had happened that sort of takes the points that he raised. So I'm not sure what's going to come of it next. My doubt is that there's going to be any real resolution, and it may be that he's going to want to have another 11, but let's see what happens.
Sounds like he's lost the opportunity for some more business, what it sounds like.
Well, he sure has now. I don't think we would consider him at all. The last thing you've got is from the Farmland Protection Board meeting that we had at the end of November. I serve on that board. The Farmland Protection Board is set up to get easements to farms in Lincoln County, with the idea that the easement would be a perpetual easement and it would protect the farm forever, so that it wouldn't be able to be turned into a shopping center or a housing development or anything like that. And the way we thought it would work would be that there'd be money from the county commission, which there has been, which is an extra $2, I don't know exactly how much it's added to land sales or some, I think I'm right on that,
Maybe 2%.
okay, that was a 2. And then in addition to that, there's money at the federal level that can be used to match, and there's also the ability of the homeowner or the farm owner to get a reduction in their taxes because of either if they give the easement directly or if they sell it at a reduced rate. There are all sorts of different ways for this to happen. Well, one of the things that we found out at our last meeting is there's this little roadblock or snag in all of this, and it's because most of the farms in Lincoln County have their minerals severed from their land. And the way the IRS and the NRCCS, which are the two organizations that give some more money, look at this. NRCCS won't contribute any money to the purchase of the easement if there's a possibility that there might be future gas drilling or strip mining. Now, we don't think there's going to be strip mining in the places where we're going, but there could be gas development. The IRS says that they won't give any tax deductions where the property has severed mineral rights. So because about 90% of the property in Lincoln County has severed mineral rights, that's going to mean that our attempt to get matching money for this isn't going to work. We would be allowed to use all the money that the commission has given to purchase property, but it sort of cuts in half the ability to do this. So we weren't exactly sure what to do. This was the first time we'd really faced this problem head on and look at it. Our lawyer, Ron Sammons, raised the issue that maybe we ask for a hardship waiver to both the IRS and the NRCS, since there's no possible way in Lincoln County that we could use the federal dollars which have been set aside to do this because of the several mineral issues. This isn't resolved at all, but it's probably important for the commission to know that we've got this thing looming in front of us, and I'm not sure how we're going to get it solved. It could get solved if I was the mineral owner and I would be willing to say, okay, I promise never to do anything with the minerals, but it would be a rare instance with somebody who was the mineral owner would be.
It'd take a while for all my feet out.
So I'm sure there's going to be more coming about that as we move forward.
Me too. If I told them over and turn my little heater on, try to fall my feet in.
How was the camp lead?
We are focused in what issues we want, what funding source, not what funding, we're focused on what we want to grab the money for. And we'll meet in January to sort of begin looking over some actual proposals. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to come back and present to the commission some actual rough grant applications, because it would go through the commission since the commission's the owner.
I just thought the other day when you all were, maybe I got that memo, something I was thinking about, no, it's when they was talking about getting your new heating system sent back, something. I thought,
Oh, there it
well, one of
is.
these days,
It must have been up on the
maybe
left.
what we should look at it, where we have caretakers now, that we buy one of these log house kits and put a cabin structure. I was thinking it would add to it. I thought, well, sometime I'd let you guys, as a committee, look at that. Especially we just buy the kit and then put it together.
Right. We could work with it. You know, high school.
Somebody, yeah.
The last thing I wanted to mention, I don't have a handout because we're still moving through that. We had this attendance summit where we brought folks from DHHR, the county prosecuting attorney, folks from probation, folks from the Board of Education, administration of the Board of Education, and some counselors and principals together to talk about the fact that we've got a lot of kids in Lincoln County who miss a lot of school. And the idea was that if we got all these organizations together, maybe they could find some better ways to collaborate to deal with this. So there's a meeting, there's supposed to be a meeting tomorrow of folks from DHHR, probations, and the school system to go through, at this point we've got through December the 3rd, we have 372 students who have missed, unexcused, who've missed 5 days or more. You know, we've got people who've missed 30, we've got people who've missed lots and lots and lots. So what's going to happen tomorrow is that those folks are actually going to go through this list of students and make sure that at least one of those organizations knows about that kid and see if, you know, everybody's on the same page about what you're doing. I think probably long term, we might see some new policies come out of this. We might see some better ways for the court system and DHR and the school system to sort of move together when you've got a kid who is missing a lot of school to try to intervene and figure out what's the reason.
That would be my focus, intervention of some measure. Punishment, to my experience, been you never reach the kids who are going to be trying anymore.
Right.
Just a game plan.
Yes. So it was a pretty good meeting. It was good to see all those people sitting down together, you know, at the table, and I think it opened a lot of eyes about different kind of problems that different organizations were facing. So my hope is sometime in January I can report something positive on that.
Thank you.
Did kids leave already?
You'll be glad to. She didn't give you a chance, did
He
you?
give up on you. Next thing on the agenda is we tabled from our last meeting about the Duval Volunteer Fire Department donation for the building.
And we have our fire chief here.
Well,
Steve.
to clarify, Steve Hudson, Duval Fire Department. Of course, we appreciate the money that we got in the past, and we, to go over the things we spent with that was the sewer system we, was recommended to put in, the type and size and everything. And we put the guard railing up the ramp and other, small things on the, agenda of the building. Of course, we're asking for more money to finish the building, hopefully to get it done a little bit quicker time. We kind of have to budget our money to get this building going, and so far we haven't accumulated any grant money, but hopefully we can get this building completed where the public can use it and we can use it as a training facility.
Do you have public meetings in quite a bit of that going on now? Or you will when you...
During our time down through the years, we've had to pull the apparatus out and let the people use the building there, whether it be for a birthday party or a community meeting. But after we get this building completed, we won't have to pull the apparatus out in the weather and so on. And they can use the building and have access, handicap access with the ramp and the bathroom. And of course, we need to put in now the finished ceiling. We have 2 ceilings to have the sprinkler system keep from freezing, plus the domestic water. And we need to put the ceiling, finished ceiling in. We haven't purchased that yet. Kitchen facilities in case some food may be served, whether during training or meeting, training session. And for the public to use as well. Back in 2003, when we had the flood that had 44 inches in our main building, we have raised the floor up 48 inches to hopefully alleviate that problem in the future, and still being handicap accessible. During that time in 2003, FEMA was in here and had no place to hold public meetings for the community. And with this new facility, that can be arranged as well. Also, Alan Holder has told me that he has plenty of cots in case people, if this ever happened again, that cots can be brought in. So many people can stay there and have facilities to bathe and fix food preparation. So that's what we're looking for. There's, FEMA can use this. We're putting in computer access to accommodate that for FEMA and us as well. And of course, we still need to buy training equipment. Like WVU has PowerPoint projection training sessions and on recording. Thumb drives, and we can use that with the equipment we need to buy, and large screen TV for our training tapes that we do have training. Public can use this building as well for first aid CPR classes, as well as us. So this building is going to be community used as well as us for training and public meetings and so on. So we appreciate everything you've done, and hopefully we can get enough to finish this building and move on with our goal.
Well, I think it speaks well for the community, having the vision to look and plan and think about how you might be able to help your community. I think that's just really, really great. Of course, I just think anytime you get people volunteering their time to help their county or community, they're outstanding citizens as far as I'm concerned. Fire departments across the county are a good group of people that really do a lot for our county. So we appreciate your efforts for sure.
And we work together in accomplishing that.
Oh, it has to.
Yes, yes.
I would echo those same sentiments. To think, because I've been to your station not in the last several months though, so I haven't seen the work you've done most recently, but I see that as a center for civic activity, really in the Duval area. And I think it's important for us to step up when we can and support that and show the community that the fire departments, the schools, the church, all those are the centers of the community. We want to keep those intact.
And we've got them in mind, more than just fire protection and rescue, as well as community efforts, meetings and things of that nature.
I would offer the commission, and I wish we could do more, but I would offer at this time the commission a motion to provide $20,000 to help with the completion of the fire station.
That would be appreciated.
And we have money in that account. I'll second that motion of $20,000. Be an all yes vote. Motion carries. Thank you
very much
for your work.
Okay, Commissioners, also from the last meeting, we tabled over the request from Alan Holder for a new Lincoln 911 pay scale to be adopted.
And you did, as we discussed, have the funds to support the request that you put
The
forward.
funds are there to support it, yes.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adopt the pay scale as presented.
So moved.
Second, all yes, motion carries.
Okay, and another request that was tabled over From the circuit clerk's office, a request for additional personnel.
I have spoken with Mr. Brumfield, and of course, we're in the process of trying to get some assistance up there. What we're looking at now is something to get us through until we can get to the budget in March. Hopefully that we can work something out. Hope maybe he'd be here this morning. He hadn't, I don't think, showed up yet. But I think he's looking at the 55 and older, and then the judge has secured a person to help here in the family law, so we got some more help there. And so hopefully we can find some compromise there. When he and I spoke, I think that's what we agreed upon. We would be able to provide some assistance, not in the way of full-time, but part-time or contract as he's seen need, because he basically said there's times you really need somebody, there's times maybe you don't. So anyway, maybe at the next meeting we may come back with some proposal of changing his budget to where we'd be able to employ part-time or something.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is new business. I need a motion to approve the bills as submitted for payment.
So moved.
Second, in all yes vote, motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the appointments, wills, and settlements as submitted by Donald C. Gooden, clerk.
So moved.
Second, in all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to adopt a resolution in support of the Lincoln Public Service District in pursuing funding for sewer for the Allen Creek area.
I think this is a really exciting item on the agenda. I don't know if it's been discussed a lot, but it looks like in the Allen Creek area, we're at the cusp of being able to move forward and network with other agencies to bring public sewer to that part of the county. I'll make the motion.
Second, in motion second, being all yes, motion carries. We're trying to hook up with other systems so we won't have to put a plant there, which would be expensive, plus keeping the sewage out of the Little Cold River. So the idea is to hook in with South Charleston, St. Albans, someone, and move in that direction.
I need a motion to approve the employment of Gina Renee Bowman, who is not any relation to the sheriff, as tax deputy in the office of the sheriff's tax department at a rate of pay of $1,350 per month effective December 16, 2010, as requested by Jerry Bowman, sheriff.
So moved.
Second, all yes, motion carries.
Is that replacing somebody?
Yes.
Yeah, one out, one in.
I need a motion to approve the appointments done in vacation Lincoln County Commission by Donald C. Whitten, clerk, as follows. Gloria Jean Gillenwater as executor to the estate of Hassel Allen Woodrum. Alice Brumfield as administrator to the estate of Russell Brumfield. Helen Porter as executor to the estate of Howard Clifford Porter.
So moved.
Second, in motion second, being all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to declare the following items surplus and transfer them to the Harrison County 911 Center in exchange for payment of $1,600 each. 3 Motorola XLT 1500.
As requested by Alan.
Those are radios that are approximately 3 years old. They interface as control points with the current equipment that we have. However, they have very little compatibility to give us the functionality that we needed. And Harrison County has a Motorola system and was able to basically take those off our hands, and we'll use the funds received from that to buy 3 Kenwood radios. And Kenwood radios are only costing me a couple $100 after we look at the offset. So I thought we did pretty good by getting that much out of a radio that was 3 years old, and then just turning around and buying something that's going to be more compatible with what we're using.
What was the cost of the 3 radios new?
I think they were probably around $2,200, $2,300. And basically for the last 3 months I've marketed those radios statewide. We started around $1,400, and a couple of counties got in kind of a little bidding war to who was willing to pay more. And $1,600 was about the most that I could expect to get out of them, because when you can go buy a new Kenwood for $1,850, it really got to the point where we were up to as much as they were worth. So for a 3-year radio, and they were very limited on their functionality, but at the time they were bought, they were the only radios that were approved and working on the statewide digital system. And now, they have, but like I said, we've sent numerous emails in an attempt to get other counties that are Motorola or Motorola inclined, and that's about the most that I think I'll get out of them anywhere.
One side note, Jerry Swanson may have spoken with you. I know he's fixing to buy a handheld, I believe he said, for his community service people. So I said, I don't know much about it. Make sure it's compatible with everything. And I think he thinks so, but you may want to check with him, make sure.
I'll call him today.
Yes, make sure, because he hasn't done it yet, but he's ready to. One other side note to you.
Yes.
On Chris, see if you could mention him on the water plan.
Yes.
I know it's a sidebar, but we'd like to have that sort of finalized. He's, I think, been working on trying to determine what % of our people in Lincoln County are receiving public water. What was the last thing we asked him? At some juncture, we need to adopt that water plan, hopefully in January. So just mention that to him. He
I will
wants
do
to
that
touch
today
on it.
also.
Appreciate it. And we need a motion there.
Yes, motion. I move to accept the sale of the radio.
Second, all yes, motion carries.
We see on agenda, need a motion to approve the purchase of a Class 19 3/4 ton four-wheel drive pickup truck in the amount of $29,975 from Stevens Auto to be used to replace the 2004 pickup truck currently being used by the mapping department for the Lincoln 911.
So moved.
Second, this is what we talked about, you're going to get the extra stuff too eventually on it.
Well, we've talked about, we looked at the gasoline, we also looked at the diesel. There's about, I think, $4,000 or $5,000 in difference, and I'd initially decided I wanted the gasoline, but then after looking at the difference in the torque and talking to you, Mr. McCann, you're used to towing some heavy stuff. We kind of felt that the diesel was necessary for some of the heavy stuff we're pulling. That the one generator we've got, it takes a lot to pull it because you pull it when it's full of fuel, and so we needed something with the extra power. We added a few things to it, like a snow plow connection on the front, so it would be ready if we did need to plow snow with it, whether it be our snow or somebody else's snow, just to get into somewhere. So the truck will get a lot of use just besides mapping, but we had a little over $25,500 that had been reimbursed from the state mapping and addressing for work that we had done as part of that project. So it's almost just taking that money and turning it right back over into the project.
Okay.
Anyone in the audience that's not on the agenda that would like to speak at this time?
I was on the agenda, but the Allen Creek, you know, the sewage in Allen Creek, one of the things with the maintenance organization in the Left Fork that we sort of have hoped in the back of our mind would be that a public service district would take that over eventually. And I think now that, you know, the Lincoln PSD is going to be having some people who are going to be working in septic, they may feel a little more comfortable with this idea. So
Yeah, it may work right out because
it might.
My understanding is they're in the process right now of advertising for design engineer, basically to design the system, and then there'll be a full-blown effort then to seek funding for it.
I'm glad to see that done. That is really needed, and when we look at our countywide statistics, Lincoln County and Putnam County are the only two counties south of Route 64 that's seen any growth in the last 10 years in southern West Virginia. And with the 4-lane highway, the sewage system has continually stifled development projects in that area, because when you go and look at the cost of building a building, or especially a commercial building, and realize you're going to have to maintain your own sewage system, people immediately build across the county line where it's available. So it will be a huge benefit to that area, and it will make everyone's property more valuable, and it will also, I think bring business further down the quarter into, you see the development that happened in Southridge. Well, the development stops when the sewage system ends, and the development picks back up when you get back to the sewage system, there's that whole section of Lincoln County that relatively has minimal development along the corridor, and I think this would change that.
Well, it's
Thank you.
definitely is long overdue, and I think their wisdom of looking to hook in makes sense, like I mentioned before. Plus, after listening to the news last night on the northern Wayne County wanting to raise their rates 49% or something, I thought, well, we don't need a sewer system to operate. We need to be able to tap into someone else's.
Well, there was one of the cities over there, and I'll let the name remain nameless, but the mayor at one time had bragged that they would have quarter G inside one of those cities until it went to a county line. And that is, I think, their long-term goal. So if one of those two cities do kind of come up against our county line, then it would be very minimal and very easy to eventually make all that happen.
Well, I don't think the people in that area care where the sewage service comes from,
You're
as long
right.
as it's provided. And even over the last year of being in that area campaigning, I ran into several people that wanted to invest in business in that area that had decided not to, or they decided just to go across the county line and invest in a different county. So I think that as a county entity, whether you live in Allen Creek, Mud River, or Harts, the health of the Allen Creek area impacts the entire county. The health of the Harts area impacts the entire county. So I think that being able to foster growth in that area will only benefit the people in its entirety.
Okay. Anything else? Coming up a new year here, next time we get together, be thinking about goals. I'm a strong believer in setting goals and working toward them, and we've always had providing public water as the #1 goal. And soon we make a hit back that direction. But anybody in the public that wishes to bring to our attention anything that's going to be beneficial to Lincoln County as far as goals that we might be working on as a commission, certainly feel free to submit those or discuss them with us. We'll be formulating those and adopting them sometime in probably the first month or two of January of the year. January, hope. The other thing I had down was the commitment we talked about before, part of Rick's working with the health department. It's trying to come up with something that would make us a little more physically fit. And I'm still pursuing the idea of having an opportunity offered to people who work here at the courthouse to encourage them to do walking at least 5 miles a week, which isn't very much, but it's more maybe than we're doing now. But I'll have something hopefully in January to adopt to show that this is what we're going to do, and some little rewards out there as you meet certain stages of this. So working toward that. Anything else?
That means I better get my needs.
When you get those needs fixed, we'll start you with 1 month. But all of us need to do better, I'm sure. Hearing nothing else, wishing Thomas a good trip as he leaves tomorrow. Entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at awfully early, 10:35 or so.
So moved.
Second, we stand adjourned, and we'll have lunch upstairs at 12.